Good afternoon. I don't know if you guys heard the fabulous news of segregation coming back. That was rage bait, right? Because they want y'all to get back out there, but little do they know, we don't want to be by them. Now, we've seen the demise of many of businesses when we snatch back that black dollar. And so what's going to happen now is we're going to continue doing what we were doing. Yes, God, okay? Stay focused. We've been building community. Now we dead ass don't have nobody but our community. Okay? Follow me, y'all. They're going to ruin their own shit. Now, what we have to prepare for is, because we know history repeats itself, and how mad they get when we thrive. It's the same way that shit happened at Cincinnati, or where was that at? When the KKK thought they was gonna do whatever they was gonna do, and then the black Hebrew Israelites was out there the next day. I don't know if y'all have seen the news story about how they've been walking around patrolling their neighborhood. This is your time to, I don't know if y'all remember why gangs were started. Oh, okay. Or, anything like that. We had a second amendment. Protect your neighborhood. We're on our own, guys. And now maybe we'll be able to be great. Okay? Maybe we'll be able to be great because now we have no ties to them. We have no reason. Now you know where you're not welcome. Now you know where not to spend your money at. And now you know who you deal with. Your people. Good day.
The Black Lives Matter mural in Washington, D.C. is being taken down. Construction work has started to remove the famous mural that has been a symbol against police brutality in the US. The 2-block street in downtown DC was named Black Lives Matter Plaza Northwest in 2020 by Mayor Muriel Bowser, the second black woman to serve as a DC mayor. The yellow block letters were created in the early days of the 2020 BLM protests set up after peaceful demonstrators were met with police violence and tear gas attacks. This was one of many protests across the world in solidarity with BLM after the murder of George Floyd. The street became a major spot for events, demonstrations, and celebrations like Juneteenth over the years. Mayor Bowser has released a statement on the future of the mural saying this, and reportedly this came after pressure from Republicans in Congress that plans to withhold federal spending unless the street was removed and renamed Liberty Plaza after a bill was submitted by a Georgia Republican representative.
From outrage to ironic acceptance, the Black community is reacting in powerful ways to what some see as a step back towards segregation. Are we facing a crisis or an opportunity? Let's break down the potential positive and adverse impacts of these changes. What happens when the government appears to roll back measures against segregation, fear, anger, or something else entirely? Today, we're exploring the surprising and complex ways the Black community is responding to these changes, from calls for self-reliance to a defiant, bring it on.
Segregation? Sir, don't threaten us with a good time, please. You know what's funny? Them whites only sign did not include Mexicans, Venezuelans. And y'all sat there and said, I will vote for Donald Trump. But whites only is whites only. Where y'all gonna go? Oh, I forgot. Y'all supposed to go back. Y'all supposed to get deported. I forgot. And then I'm still trying to figure out when white people gonna figure out that the economy doesn't run without us. Literally any time this economy is in trouble, they rely on Black people to help them claw out of it. Literally, when you guys were starting America and the Irish and Native Americans wasn't doing the do to help get agricultural economy off the ground, what'd you do? You looked for the Black people. You got the Black people going. Then during the war, whose help did you need? Both in the war and out of the war. When we became an industrial economy, who helped y'all through that? Black people. Radio, television, film, when shit was hitting the fan for the industries, whose help did you need? Black people. Y'all, we are your son, Superman. Without us, you're weak. And I just can't wait for y'all to realize that. Like, y'all need us for everything, want us for everything, take everything from us. And then you go sit here and say, we're going back to segregation. Oh, you think you figured it out? You think you're cute? Back when we had segregation, y'all was still stealing. Y'all was going in the hood, Little Red, with the camera, stealing everything and performing in y'all club like it was the hottest hit single that you wrote. Elvis. Y'all thought our shit was fly even when you didn't want to come to our establishments to see it. I mean, give us Black Wall Street globally. That's fine. We are tired of the bullshit. Please segregate us. Don't be bringing your asses in our clubs either, trying to get some good music. Y'all better y'all's asses way over there. Where the hell the whites only said go over there? Cause ain't no way. Ain't no way. Y'all food nasty. Like, we got the good music, the good food. We have a good old time. And it goes without saying, y'all ain't invited. Amen. We are sick of it. Sick of it.
Hey everyone! We're going to talk about the implications, both positive and adverse, for the Black community in light of recent developments that some are interpreting as a step towards the rollback of anti-segregation measures. Now, to be clear, the legal landscape of segregation as it existed in the Jim Crow era hasn't suddenly reappeared. However, recent actions, specifically the removal of a key clause within federal contracting regulations, are raising serious questions and prompting a range of reactions within the Black community. A few days ago, a video started circulating, online highlighting a change in the Federal Acquisition Regulation, or FAR. Clause 52.22-21, titled Prohibition of Segregated Facilities, has reportedly been removed. This clause, as outlined in the FAR, explicitly stated that federal contractors agree not to maintain or provide segregated facilities for their employees in any of their establishments. These facilities included work areas, restaurants, bathrooms, drinking fountains, transportation and housing, and segregation based on race, color, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, or national origin was prohibited. The removal of this clause, as some sources point out, occurred due to changes under the Trump administration. The interpretation of this action by many, particularly within the Black community, is deeply concerning. It's seen as a symbolic move by an administration already perceived as inherently racist, and one that doesn't have the interests of Black and brown people at heart. As one source put it, what this heinous government is saying is that this clause in the FAR will no longer be considered when making award choices or enforce requirements. This development has coincided with other symbolic actions, such as the removal of the Black Lives Matter mural in Washington, D.C. This mural, erected in 2020 as a powerful symbol against police brutality, was taken down due to construction work, reportedly after pressure from Republicans in Congress who threatened to withhold federal spending. These events taken together are fueling the perception that there is an active effort to erase symbols of Black empowerment and potentially roll back progress made towards equality. Now, let's delve into the potential adverse implications for the Black community that arise from these perceived steps backward. Symbolic reinforcement of discrimination. The removal of the anti-segregation clause, even if existing federal and state laws like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 still apply, carries a powerful and negative symbolic weight. It can be interpreted as a signal that the federal government is less committed to actively preventing segregation in federal contracting. This can embolden discriminatory practices and create an environment where segregation, even if subtle, becomes more acceptable. Erosion of protections. While existing laws may still prohibit outright segregation, the removal of a specific contractual obligation sends a message. There's a fear that this is part of a broader effort to chip away at civil rights protections, as suggested by the concern that the Trump administration was actively trying to dismantle the Civil Rights Act. Historical trauma resurfacing. For many Black Americans, the idea of a return to segregation evokes the painful history of the Jim Crow era with its systemic oppression, violence, and denial of basic human rights. The fear that we might be going back to the 1950s, in which the white people had the power and we were powerless, is a real and understandable concern. Potential for increased discrimination, while direct whites-only signs might not reappear. Overnight, the absence of a clear prohibition in federal contracts could lead to more subtle forms of discrimination in hiring, workplace environments, and access to facilities for employees of federal contractors. Psychological impact. The feeling that the government is indifferent or even hostile to the idea of integration can have a demoralizing effect on the Black community. It can reinforce feelings of marginalization and undermine the belief that true equality is attainable. Amidst these concerns, there's also a fascinating and, in some ways, empowering set of reactions emerging from within the Black community. Some are viewing these developments not with fear, but with a sense of grim determination and even a touch of ironic acceptance. This leads us to explore the potential, albeit unconventional, positive implications as perceived by some in the Black community, as reflected in the sources: forced self-reliance and community building. Some see this as an opportunity to double down on building and strengthening Black communities and institutions. The sentiment is that if mainstream society is signaling a desire to separate, then the focus should be on creating thriving Black-only spaces and economies. As one source exclaimed, "I would like to see Black neighborhoods. I would like to see Black-only movie theaters, Black-only concert venues, Black-only restaurants. I want to see everything Black." Economic empowerment, the idea of a return to segregation, prompts some to consider the power of the Black dollar and the potential for its recirculation within Black communities. There's a belief that by intentionally supporting Black-owned businesses and institutions, the economic strength of the Black community can be significantly enhanced. Exposing existing realities. Some argue that de facto segregation has always existed in various forms, from segregated neighborhoods and disparities in public education to racial profiling and redlining. The removal of this clause might simply make these existing realities more explicit, potentially galvanizing action to address the root causes of inequality within Black communities. As one person stated, "We've been living in segregation. They just convinced people that it no longer existed." Like, the public school system is getting trash, and who predominantly goes to the public school system? Black and brown children. Rejection of integration on unfair terms. There's a sentiment among some that forced integration into hostile or discriminatory environments is not true progress. If the dominant society signals a lack of genuine desire for equitable integration, some would rather focus on the well-being and advancement of the Black community on its own terms. One perspective shared was, "Little do they know, we don't want to be by them now." Unmoved response and strategic observation. Interestingly, many in the sources express a sense of being unbothered or strategically observant of these developments. The feeling is that Black people have faced and overcome systemic oppression for centuries, and these actions are not a new threat, but rather a continuation of a long-standing struggle. The focus is on resilience and finding ways to navigate and overcome these challenges. As one source put it, "We've been given lemons all our lives, and we've been making lemonade. This is not going to change." Another stated, "Segregation, sir. Don't threaten us with a good time." It's crucial to understand that these positive implications are not necessarily a celebration of segregation, but rather a reflection of the resilience, adaptability, and strategic thinking within the Black community in the face of perceived adversity. It's about finding agency and strength even when confronted with potentially discriminatory actions. However, it's also vital to acknowledge the inherent dangers and the historical context that makes any step towards segregation deeply troubling. The history of separate but equal has proven to be inherently unequal and has inflicted immense harm on Black communities. The fear that these actions could open the door to more overt forms of discrimination and undermine the progress made in the fight for civil rights remains a significant concern for many. Ultimately, the implications of these developments for the Black community are complex and multifaceted. While some are expressing a renewed focus on self-reliance and community building, others are understandably worried about the potential for increased discrimination and the symbolic setback these actions represent. What is clear from the reactions? Within the sources is the unwavering resilience and determination of the Black community to navigate these challenges and continue the fight for equality and justice, regardless of the obstacles they face. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What are your reactions to these developments? How do you see them impacting the Black community? Share your perspectives in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.